Silent footsteps on polished hardwood floors. A lone figure, almost invisible in the pre-dawn darkness, slips into the Oval Office. Agent Smith, a ghost in his own right, moves with practiced ease, his heart a drumbeat against his ribs. He's not supposed to be here, not like this. He reaches the president's desk. The Resolute, a monument to power and decision-making. In his hands, a seemingly innocuous flash drive. The contents, however, are anything but. This is the reason he's here, the reason he risks everything. His fingers fly across the keyboard, bypassing security protocols he himself helped implement. A cold sweat trickles down his spine. He can feel the weight of the secret he carries, a secret that could shatter the fragile peace. He downloads the data, every byte a betrayal. His stomach clenches. He's playing a dangerous game, and the stakes are higher than ever. The harsh ring of his secured phone jolts him back to reality. He answers, his voice betraying nothing of his inner turmoil. Smith. On the other end, his handler, her voice a low murmur. "The package?" she asks, her tone clipped, professional. "Delivered," he replies, his eyes darting around the room, paranoia a constant companion. Later that day, the White House bustles with activity. A steady stream of advisors, politicians, and staff scurry through the corridors of power. Amidst the chaos, Agent Smith moves with practiced ease, his demeanor calm, professional. His cover senior advisor to the president. No one suspects a thing. He attends high-level briefings, his mind a steel trap, compartmentalizing the information, filtering truth from fiction. Every smile, every handshake, a carefully constructed facade. He is living a lie, and the weight of it threatens to crush him. The president relies on him, trusts him. The irony is not lost on him. The White House is a breeding ground for secrets, a place where whispers echo in the corridors of power, where every shadow hides a story. Agent Smith navigates this treacherous landscape with the skill of a tightrope walker, balancing on the edge of danger, always aware of the abyss that awaits him. A single misstep could mean his downfall. The president's chief of staff, a shrewd and calculating woman named Elizabeth Thorne, observes him closely, her eyes never missing a detail. "You seem distracted, Agent Smith," she remarks, her voice sharp, perceptive. "Something on your mind?" Her tone is both inquisitive and demanding. "Just the usual concerns, Madam Chief of Staff," he replies smoothly, deflecting her scrutiny with practiced ease. Her gaze lingers for a moment, a flicker of suspicion in her eyes, as if she can see through his facade. She knows him too well, understands the games they play. "These are dangerous times, Agent Smith," she says finally, her voice low, laced with warning, each word heavy with implication. "Trust is a precious commodity," she adds, almost as an afterthought. He nods, his heart pounding against his ribs, the weight of her words sinking in. He can feel the walls closing in, the noose tightening around his neck, every breath becoming harder to take. He has to get out, but he's in too deep, the stakes too high. There's no turning back now, no escape from the web of intrigue. The Oval Office feels different this time, heavier, as if the very air is thick with unspoken words and hidden agendas. The president, a man of quiet strength and unwavering resolve, sits behind his desk, his face etched with concern, his mind racing with the gravity of the situation. "Agent Smith," he begins, his voice grave and steady. "We have a situation that demands our immediate attention." Smith listens intently, his face betraying nothing of his inner turmoil, his thoughts a whirlwind of possibilities and dangers. The president speaks of a mole, a breach in the highest levels of government, a threat that could unravel everything they have worked for. His words hang in the air, heavy with suspicion and the weight of potential betrayal. "I need your help, Agent Smith," the president continues, his eyes boring into him with an intensity that cannot be ignored. "Find the leak, before it's too late." Smith nods, his throat suddenly dry, the enormity of the task ahead pressing down on him. He is caught in a web of his own making, a spider dangling precariously above its own trap, every move fraught with danger. He knows the president is watching him, evaluating his every move, every decision, every hesitation. He can feel the weight of those eyes, the burden of expectation, the silent demand for results. But what the president doesn't know is that the man he trusts is the very threat he seeks, the hidden danger lurking in the shadows of his own office. Section 5. Ticking Clock. A midnight rendezvous. The clock ticks down, each second a hammer blow to his nerves, a reminder of the stakes. He slips out of the White House under the cover of darkness, his heart pounding in his chest. His phone a lifeline to his handler, the encrypted messages his only guide. "It's time," she says, her voice a low murmur in his ear. They're expecting the intel. A chill runs down his spine, the weight of his mission pressing heavily on him. He's never been this close to exposure, to utter ruin. The fear is palpable. He arrives at the designated meeting point, a deserted park shrouded in shadows, every sound amplified in the stillness. A lone figure sits on a bench, shrouded in darkness, waiting. He approaches cautiously, his hand hovering near his weapon, ready for anything. "You have something for me?" a gruff voice asks, breaking the silence. He nods, his heart pounding in his chest, fear and adrenaline coursing through him. The weight of the flash drive feels like a lead brick in his pocket, a burden he must pass on. He hands it over, their fingers brushing for a fleeting moment, a silent exchange of trust and betrayal. The man disappears into the night, leaving Smith alone with the consequences of his actions, the gravity of his betrayal sinking in. He has betrayed his country, his president, his oath. But why? The question haunts him. What is he fighting for? The answer eludes him, lost in the shadows of the night. Section 6. A Brush with Discovery. Shadows close in. Back in the White House, Elizabeth Thorne works late, her brow furrowed in concentration. She reviews security footage, her eyes scanning the screen. Something catches her eye. A figure, cloaked in shadow, moving through the corridors of power at an unusual hour. She zooms in, her heart skipping a beat. It's Agent Smith. What is he doing? She rewinds the footage, her suspicions growing with each passing moment. She sees him entering the Oval Office, sees him tampering with the president's computer. Her blood runs cold. She has to tell the president, but can she trust anyone? The White House suddenly feels like a prison, its walls closing in on her. She is surrounded by enemies, both seen and unseen. She has to tread carefully. One wrong move could be deadly. Section 7. Shifting Sands. Alliances begin to fray. Agent Smith feels the ground shifting beneath his feet. He sees the doubt creeping into the president's eyes, the increased scrutiny from Elizabeth Thorne. His carefully constructed facade is crumbling, and he knows it's only a matter of time before it all comes crashing down. He tries to contact his handler, but the line is dead. He's on his own, a lone wolf surrounded by hunters. He needs to find a way out, but every path seems to lead to a dead end. He's trapped in a web of his own making, and the spider is closing in. Section 8. The Price of Betrayal, a Ghost from the Past. A knock on his door, late at night. His blood turns to ice. He's expecting this, but he's not ready for it. He opens the door, and a figure steps out of the shadows. A ghost from his past, someone he thought he'd left behind. "You're in danger," the figure says, his voice low, urgent. "They know who you are." Smith's heart races. He knew the risks, but he never thought it would come to this. "Who are they?" he demands, his voice tight with apprehension. "It doesn't matter," the figure replies. "You need to disappear, now." Section 9. Cornered, nowhere left to run. The walls are closing in. The president confronts Agent Smith, his voice a low growl. Elizabeth Thorne stands by his side, her eyes cold, unforgiving. "You betrayed us," the president says, his voice thick with disappointment and anger. "You swore an oath to protect this country, and you sold us out." Smith says nothing. He has no defense, no explanation that would justify his actions. He is caught red-handed, his treachery laid bare. He knows it's over. He just wants it to be over quickly. Section 10. A Shocking Revelation. Trust no one. But just as the president's security detail moves to apprehend him, a shot rings out. The president crumples to the floor, a crimson stain blooming on his chest. Chaos erupts in the Oval Office. Screams pierce the air. And in the ensuing pandemonium, Agent Smith sees his chance. He grabs Elizabeth Thorne, holding her hostage as he makes his escape. She struggles against him, her eyes blazing with fury. "You're dead!" she spits. "You hear me? Dead!" But as they disappear into the labyrinthine corridors of the White House, a single question echoes in Agent Smith's mind. Who fired the shot? And who can he trust now?